Lemon Party?
Fuck, what was that from? That was Zoolander, wasn't it?
That was shit. Goodwill Hunting 2. It's hunting season, but it was off. But it was off of what show was it in? Oh shit! That was from. It was a Jay and Silent Bob. Clerks 2.
Strikes Back.
Yeah, something Strikes Back.
Strikes Back or Clerks 2 or something. Yeah. That's awesome.
So action here, Gus. Jesus, Ben, I'm busy. He's just cutting cash. I miss my donkey.
All right, I don't know where we got before the internet decided to internet. Did you guys talk about
we were halfway through bitching about Sanctuary City.
Yeah, we were talking about sanctuary cities and the how it's even worse when you have free healthcare.
Oh, yeah, because now people that have never contributed and will never contribute to my tax base will now get to enjoy the 50% of my tax dollars that go towards healthcare.
Yeah, and have no intention of even pretending to act like they will in the future.
No, because you could literally show up here, demand free healthcare, and because Horvath feels that it's a human right, then you just, well, I mean, I guess you stand in the line like everybody else, but I mean, if you stand there long enough, you'll get your free healthcare.
But that's a thing
that's here for anything urgent.
That's such a left-wing thing, though. Like, why? Like, and I've been listening to this debate for the past year and a half or 2 years about America. It's Canadian rights. Why do they extend to people who aren't Canadian? You know, why do people?
In my opinion, they don't. And I mean, so like, if you move to Ontario and you have to get OHIP coverage, I think you have to live here for 3 months before that happens. Now, I don't know if that's true if you're like moving between provinces or if you're moving between countries and you settle in Ontario. But like in Ontario, you have to wait 3 months to get your OHIP card. If you're coming from Quebec to Ontario, like that's kind of dumb. But if you're coming from, I don't know, Haiti to Ontario, I'm not sure that I should be paying for your stuff until you've actually contributed some tax dollars. Because just because you can get here doesn't mean you should get my free health care.
Yeah,
or free education or any of that other free stuff, because that's all my tax dollars.
Yeah, but that's a typical white privilege Nazi point of view, where you don't want to be giving transgender, sexual reassignment surgery to Haitians on vacation.
No, I definitely do not want to be the Haitian destination for gender reassignment.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be paying for that. If they want to chop their business off, they can do that in their own country.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Well, that's just xenophobic.
Well, I'm going to cover all of the basic human violations. Is there anybody that I didn't miss? Can I call it a shithole country?
It's implied. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's implied.
No, like, I mean, okay, if you're a landed immigrant, if you've legally immigrated into this country, if you are moving between provinces, like, okay, I get that you're gonna, like, the idea is that you're supposed to be a productive member of society, and part of our society is that you get free health care. It's not really free, but like you don't have to pay for it up front. You have to pay for it on your taxes, which is worse for me because it's someone who doesn't use our healthcare system. I seem to pay a lot of money for healthcare that I don't get to take advantage of. I'm sure I could use that money for something better, like the 50% of the taxes that are in my beer. But I lost my point. Something about I don't want to give away free stuff to people that aren't Canadian.
Beer and anger.
What if we make them pay the full tax rate of the beer? Like no dollar beers for foreigners.
I don't really care so much about that. I just, if you're gonna
dollar beer is a human right.
Somewhere in there's a balance there, right? Like somewhere there's a balance between Jesus. Somewhere there's a balance between like what the NDP is doing with like their basic humanitarian peace. That's a quote from Horvath, basic humanitarian peace. I don't know what she was trying to say, but like there is a balance in there. And I'm not saying we should turn people away from emergency rooms because they don't have the insurance to pay for it or cash up front or what have you. But like at some point there needs to be a line that's drawn that says if you're not contributing to society, you stop getting the free stuff. Because the whole point of the free stuff is supposed to be like as a safety net so that if you are unable to provide for yourself, the rest of the community will take care of you. Except the community is not taking care of you. The government is pointing guns at me, demanding half of my salary and using that to give you free health care. And I'm not really down with being somebody else's slave. So if we could stop doing that, that'd be super.
Yeah, especially when those people that aren't even providing, for society are people that are coming from other societies that they're not even contributing there.
So some people who come here, like, they won't even be able to enjoy the buck beer.
Yeah.
It's my buck beer.
Well, what do they get?
Nothing. They get nothing. Did you guys already talk about the Hitler meme?
Briefly.
Only as far as we mentioned it earlier.
Okay. So I've got a list of things that the NDP has been slowly lighting on fire and setting in their dumpster, because I don't know what's been going on with the NDP the last couple of weeks, but it seems like every time I turn around, there's some other candidate that's done something. I don't know if asinine even fully covers the level of stupidity that's going on.
Oh, maybe that dumpster fire is why we have this heat wave that's coming through Ontario at the moment.
It's not carbon neutral.
Okay, so here's the question. Because it was said by Hitler, does that automatically make it wrong?
No.
Because it seems like that's what the issue is here.
Well, I mean, yes, that is what seems to be the issue here, and I don't think that that's generally wrong. I think that the problem is that it is not good optics in modern politics to invoke Nazi imagery and Hitler quotes.
Whether Hitler
not good optics. I agree with you there.
Right?
Well,
like I don't.
The context of the quote matters too, and how it was used and everything else. Like if you put something up and you go, "This guy was a dickhead," there's some context and something to that. But if you're just throwing out Hitler quotes,
yeah, that seemed to be more what was going on in this case. It was just the throwing out the Hitler quotes. Hitler memes. I guess it was a picture of Hitler with text. And I mean, like, the text is not wrong, and it does kind of speak to the mentality of the NDP. If you don't like a rule, just follow it. Reach on the top and change the rule. I mean, like, this has been the progressive left's long march through academia and government.
But again, imagine if a PC candidate had posted a liberal meme. Imagine what the NDP would say about that. But then when Doug Ford brought it up in the last debate, like she literally said, "Well, if you had a sense of humor, Doug."
Yeah,
I know, and there's two sets of rules, right? There's the set of the rules the media judges people on the right by, and there's a set of the rules that the media judges people on the left by.
Yeah,
and they're not the same. Because if Doug Ford had shared this, they'd be calling for blood. Like, but yeah, to the NDP, it's a joke.
So actually, in this article, speaking of like having a sense of humor, in this article, did you guys see the Twitter post from the Ontario PC that they're making controversial tweets of the off-color jokes of Muslims? Did you see that one? Or?
No.
Oh yeah, was that Andrew Lawton that made that? He's a candidate for London.
Yeah.
So he posted a picture of him wearing a heart with a heart monitor. He had all the wires attached to him, and his text on his Twitter post was covered in wires from a portable heart monitor. The Muslim gents nearby seem to think I'm one of them.
Oof.
And, yeah. And I mean, he should rightly be called out for making stupid comments like that and held accountable for them. Or, people can have a sense of humor. As,
Yeah, like it's like
yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. That's the kind of shit I say all the time, but at least I'm smart enough to not run for office.
Oh, yeah. None of us will ever be in government. That's
It's like, I understand how that's offensive, but it's still kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah. But I mean, it is sort of interesting that an NDP candidate who you'd say is probably one of the most socialist parties of the country puts up a quote from a national socialist. Just
Well, okay, if you want to go back to, like, is it okay to quote Hitler or not? I mean, if you read Mein Kampf, the book that Hitler wrote, he does talk about why they chose National Socialism as the name of their political movement, because if we must be socialists, then let us be National Socialists. There's a reason why they picked the optics that they picked in the 30s. And it was to get people on their side to form a populist government so that he could get into power and change the laws to benefit him in the way that he wanted.
Yeah.
Again, no, I'm not right. Not saying it's right or wrong. Just saying that there was a reason why it was done the way it was done. Yeah,
and it is interesting that there is the quote is about changing the rules when there definitely is two sets of rules, because they certainly got ticked off at the conservative guy for his comment, but her comment to Ford was, "Oh, have a sense of humor." Like,
yeah, but that's the thing. Like you say, like they believe in like follow their rules or else, to the point of the candidate saying like she would happily watch drone strikes like hit Second Amendment protectors in the States.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Let's pivot to her. That's Erica Kelly. She's a candidate from the Toronto area.
She inspired the podcast art work.
Yeah.
Really.
Don't drone me, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's changed her Facebook thing, that she's disabled her personal Facebook account and made like a public page to garner support in the upcoming election, whatever. And she goes down, and in the comments, she's talking to one of her, I don't know, friends, associates, constituents, whatever.
Lackeys?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know what the relationship is with the dude that posts. Later on, she said that she like the way that she apologized, it made it sound like she knew the person that she was talking to, and she made a comment to a friend that was not meant for public consumption. But we'll talk about the apology after we talk about the actual comment. So I'll just read the comment. I know this is horrible to say, but I would not be sad to see these gun nuts threatening civil war have their asses blown to fuck with a drone. I mean, really, if only to see their tyrannical government Second Amendment argument blown to smithereens. I know that's horrible to say, but if they don't care about kids' lives being lost with the way things are now, I really don't care about them either. So,
okay, the first question I have is, how would that blow their tyrannical government argument to smithereens? Wouldn't that
strongly reinforce the argument that if you're going to drone your own citizens for peaceful possession of property, that maybe you're a tyrannical government? Yeah, I kind of feel like the NDP might form a tyrannical government. I also feel kind of like the NDP might go door to door and have like a glass knot kind of situation and take all my stuff. And by all my stuff, I mean valuable possessions. And there ain't no way I'm swallowing a watch to give to my best friend's kid. Somebody cue the more cowbell guy.
Well, I mean, swallowing an AR is going to be a lot harder than a watch.
You just do it one part at a time. It'll be fine.
Yeah, until you get to I don't know, the barrel, the receivers, the handguard.
Okay, so maybe it's not a well thought out plan, but
yeah, no, it completely reinforces their argument. Yeah.
It's incredibly insulting to hear them think that gun owners don't care about the kids' lives being lost. We're the ones that do care about the kids' lives being lost. That's why we're upset that they're coming after legal gun owners and not taking measures to go after the things that could actually protect these kids' lives.
Well,
but we're the ones that are pissed off. They're politicizing this to come after guns and not going after the criminals.
But also, there's the insult of us law-abiding firearms owners being blamed whenever there is a shooting like this. Like they just group us in with the criminal, and it's just like that's horse shit.
Yeah, somehow people that are angry that their constitutional right to protect themselves from asshats in government, are related to people that are murdering innocent children. That's not the same thing at all. There's nowhere remotely the same thing. It's insulting that they would even try to draw parallels between those two groups of people. That's.
And it's such an insulting, simplistic thing that they do to demonize us, so they can move on and say things and take the guns from us. It's a real simplistic trick that they're playing on themselves. to dehumanize us.
It's from the same people that want to go and open up like injection sites for heroin addicts and stuff like that. But drugs are what's really killing our kids. But nobody wants to fucking admit that, right? Like, but let's open up a few more injection sites because that's the humane thing to do. Oh, how about we go after drug dealers drugs are killing more people than guns are. And a lot of gun violence is related to the drug fucking business. So do something about that. You'll save more lives than taking all of our guns away.
But that's the thing, like between the right-wing people and whether it's Canada, the US, and the left-wing people, like there's just a growing divide, and these people, like, they just behave so illogically. It's hard to imagine. Like you talked about injection sites. It just reminded me, like there was a local community group, and someone said something like, I looked out on my yard and there was this like a Dairy Queen cup like by my kid's swing set. So I went out there like to pick up the litter, and he looked inside it, and it was a syringe like with the safety off, like it was just like an open syringe kind of thing in the cup with a cotton ball and like a piece of tinfoil and shit. And like everyone's like, holy shit, like someone needs to take a baseball bat and get a motion sensor and shit like that. And then some leftist comes on there and she goes, yeah, this is why we need more safe injection sites. It's like, we have safe injection sites. Like, how much class do you need to not shoot up heroin on someone's kid's freaking swing set?
Yeah, go do that in your own fucking home. That's your safe injection site. But yeah, like it's the criminal behavior being associated to law-abiding people is such a shitty thing to do, but they constantly do it. And then it makes you look bad because you don't care about the children that are getting murdered. Yeah. And it's like, no, we absolutely do.
Yeah, but as far as I'm concerned, anyone who thinks that the solution to that problem was to add more injection sites should have no power to vote. They're completely illogical. They have no right making decisions that will affect other people's taxes.
Yeah, just like taking guns away from legal law-abiding people is going to solve violent crime.
Yeah, this is
also
dumb.
I like that her apology says that the comments came in the quote heat of the moment. My comments do not reflect how I live my life and how I treat others. For that, I offer my unreserved apology. Bullshit. What happened was this was a moment of unfiltered comment. You were angry, and so you spoke unfiltered. You spoke your thoughts. That's what happened here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she thought there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
So I refuse to accept her apology. We don't have a Second Amendment in Canada. I don't know what you're trying to accomplish by taking away my guns to stop criminals in the U.S. from using their guns. But please try and drone me. I will gladly start a civil war with an NDP government for that.
I'm pretty sure that's what's causing all of our internet problems this evening is the NDP drones circling over our houses watching us.
No, but I mean, like, really, if these people, like, what are they going to do? Turn in your guns? No. Well, you have to turn in your guns. It's a law. No. Well, turn in your guns or we're going to come and take them. Who's going to come and take them? Other people with guns? Like, still no. Oh, okay. Now you're going to drone me for not turning in my previously legal property? Do you want to start a guerrilla war? Because that's how you start a guerrilla war.
Don't mention guerrilla on the anniversary.
Not in this. Yeah. This country would roll over so fast.
Okay, well, me and about 6 other people I know will be getting droned.
The chair is against the wall.
Like
John has a long mustache.
Go on. I mean, you go on CGN and just see the amount of fuzz that are like, "Oh, it's not a hunting rifle, so I don't care." I mean, that's the vast majority of firearms owners in this country.
I know you're right, Marty, but this is a bellwether for a free society. If your government takes away your ability to lawfully possess firearms, you don't live in a free society. And I'm not saying that we do, but at least we have the ability to possess.
Bill C-71. Sees at 858 Swiss Arms. They are now confiscated from those people.
Absolutely. And I disagree with it. And it's one more of those incremental steps that they're using. Because there's really, C-71 is just the latest thing in a long line of what the long march on the left of trying to take away my guns. Because there's really no reason that I shouldn't be allowed to own full autos just because I didn't own one. And when did that law come into effect? 86?
I believe so, yes.
Right? So just because I wasn't around to own full autos in 86, there's no reason why I shouldn't be allowed to own a full auto. I know people with full autos. I've shot full autos. I've shot legally owned full autos in Canada.
Mm.
They're
The
not
government
dangerous
paid you
firearms.
to fire full autos.
Yeah, the government has paid me to fire fully automatic firearms, but I can't be trusted with them as a civilian on this side of the street to legally own a piece of property and use it in a responsible manner. But I can drive a 2-ton vehicle every day without any issue. Like the cognitive dissonance of these people is baffling. But the ability to legally own firearms in this country or not is the feature against which I measure what level of freedom we have, because as they take away our gun rights, they will take away every other right that we have. And we have seen this time and again by leftist governments around the world.
Yep. I mean, not even just the leftist ones. It's the ones on the far right, too. They did the exact same thing. You know?
Socialist, fascist, same difference.
Yeah. Different outfits, but same outcome.
Not everybody gets to wear Hugo Boss.
What else?
Yeah.
What other fun tweets we missed? Oh, the 9/11 truthers. There was an NDP saying that Bush was responsible for 9/11, and then a liberal one saying that asking was it really a terrorist attack or just another cover-up?
Yeah, but to assume Bush was responsible for anything is kind of funny.
Very narrow-sighted.
He's not the brightest pencil on the block.
People in glass houses shouldn't sink ships.
And like, okay, let's look at the liberal one. So the full quote: 9/11, was it really a terrorist attack or just another cover-up? As soon as it happened back in 2001, I thought, how can the U.S. defense be so weak? I thought they let it happen so they can declare war. Whether you believe that like 9/11 was an inside job or not, or whether, you know, this doesn't even seem controversial to me. This is a legitimate, like, this is a question. This is a question we don't have the answer to. Are we complaining that this person just like doesn't take the approved narrative?
Well, they're never going to be a good politician if they don't.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, this is a question we don't have answers to. Therefore, it's a valid question.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, you know, this is the liberal candidate, but like to me, that's like they're not even saying, you know, this was orchestrated by alien Hitlers. They're just saying like, yeah, was this a terrorist attack? Like, this seems crazy that this was able to be done. Yeah, I agree. That's like, I can't see how anybody would disagree with that question.
Yeah. You should always be able to ask whatever question you want. I mean,
I have a question. I want to pivot to another MP. This is Laura Kemeniker. She has a couple of awesome ideas, and I want to touch on at least two of them. She's the MP that caused a stir because she doesn't want to wear a poppy on Remembrance Day because of the glorification of war, I guess, is her argument. This is also
the opposite of what the poppy does.
No, haven't you guys gone down to the cenotaph on the 11th and like seen all the kegs and like all the guys in their suits with like doing keg stands and like cheering?
Yeah,
isn't that what happened?
So many high fives.
Yeah, like, man, we fucking murdered those guys good. Like, just high fives all around.
Some guys doing the single tier because they're not dropping krauts.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if this individual doesn't want to wear a poppy,
don't wear one.
That's fine. Don't wear one. If they want to wear their peace button on their jacket, that's fine. But to say that this is collective brainwashing and that when our masters give the signal, everyone can take off their fake poppy made with prison labor and create a bit more landfill, and the another annual ritual of war glorification comes to a close, you're so out of touch with the average Canadian. You're so incredibly out of. This is not brainwashing. This is not leftist indoctrination in schools. This is honoring the sacrifices of the people that allow you to live in a country where you're allowed to express that opinion.
I'm curious if she's so worried about creating landfill. In her riding, does she have signs with her name on them?
Oh no, the totally different case. That's not at all like poppies. I also the whole like made with prison labor thing is stupid. Yes, there are like 8 minimum labor or minimum security prisons that are included in the manufacture of poppies because they're no longer made exclusively by volunteers. They're no longer exclusively made by the company in Toronto. I think the name is the Dominion Regalia Company, because they couldn't keep up with the demand because there's such an incredibly high demand for poppies over the last 5 years that they've outsourced it to prison labor through the government, because a prisoner can make something like 6 poppies a minute. And by make, I mean they assemble the 3 pieces.
Yeah, but heaven forbid that prisoners earn their keep.
Well, and there was actually a big controversy about that because they worked it out that in order to make the 18 million poppies or however many poppies they make in a year, it would require like 60 full-time prison laborers, and the union of prison guards, whatever their union is, they didn't want that because, the stabby pointy bits, they were afraid that this would get turned into like things to make prison tattoos with, and people with infections would stab one another and cause more infections, which I think is a reasonable concern. But at the same time, like, prisoners make lots of other things. I don't see a problem with having them show a little bit of pride in their country and make some poppies.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to make other stuff in prison. They can make this.
Yeah, they could make shanks out of a toothbrush if they wanted, like...
Yeah, and I mean, there's some concerns about the materials and stuff that they're using, but any sort of labor program, there's going to be concerns about the materials that they're using, so whatever. This is also the same candidate that wants to try and ban the national anthem from sporting events because mixing sports and nationalism causes people to not be able to separate the two and glorifies war and the killing of innocent people in third world countries where our soldiers go to... No, wait, we don't go kill people in third world countries. That's got to be a typo. Pretty sure we go and do peacekeeping operations because we're not allowed to get into actual wars.
Or maybe, sporting events stop wars because it gives us a way to get out our aggression in a healthy, constructive manner against other nations without resorting to war and killing one another.
I agree with Gavin. I mean, you play national anthem before a Leafs game, and you're like, whoa, we should not go to war. We never win.
Ooh. Somewhere there's one Toronto fan listening that's sad.
But the one thing I have to mention is...
He knows what he got into.
Yeah. This Laura Kaminker, who...
Sure.
Yeah, she was complaining about the poppies filling up landfill sites. If you look at her, it looks like she's sent more than her fair share of Dairy Queen straws to the frickin' landfill site. To be fair.
Yeah, she's not a very attractive man.
Or is she? No, she's not.
No, she's not.
Oh God.
This is another thing where Horvath has defended the candidate's right to hold their view and is not reprimanding the candidate or doing anything else. And again, I'm okay if this candidate doesn't want to wear a poppy. Like that's not a problem for me. My problem with this is that she clearly does not respect our military, which is the one thing the government has legitimate responsibility over.
Yeah, it's the military doesn't just go war on shit when they're bored. Like they're sent there by a government, for Christ's sake.
Right, by our elected politicians, and that's this individual has demonstrated a lack of understanding of how the government operates. I realize that she's applying for a position in a provincial government, and they don't have a military as such.
Yeah,
but politicians are responsible for what our military does.
I thought those people were supposed to be jolly.
Can we assume by her opposition here that she opposes our role in World War II and believes that Hitler should have won.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
Wait, have they quoted Hitler or just,
I mean, one can only assume, right? Because if any of our intervention is negative, then she believes that Hitler should have won and we shouldn't have stopped him.
Yeah, I guess like that. It goes by that same logic that like if you're not against cancer, you're pro cancer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It does happen. I've mentioned there are pro cancer organizations in Ontario. I could name probably 2.
So there you go, guys. Whoever voters out there that are listening, you have a choice. You can vote for the pro Hitler party of the NDP.
Yeah, but if you do, Google Andrea Horwath's son and look at what she made and see, like, do you want her to be in charge of a province?
I'm going to regret this.
Yeah, I'm worried about clicking on this button. What does... Oh, the Globe and Mail wants me to buy a subscription to see a picture. No, that's a hard no. It's not going to happen, Globe and Mail.
Is there tax on that? I've already seen the picture.
Wait.
He's wearing a toque in the sun.
This is what single motherhood breeds.
Yes.
If you're a communist and unable to maintain a husband, this is what your progeny looks like. This alone is a reason you shouldn't be in charge of government.
Yeah.
You know that kid's morals are as absent as his father figure.
Yeah.
Oh, good God. I know that quote.
I know you do.
Well, it's altered slightly, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that the original quote
to protect the innocent.
Oh, there is nothing innocent about that boy, let me tell you.
All right, let's do one last one with a little more Horvath bashing, because she's such a good socialist.
I'm game.
You would be. Toronto Sun article from Brian Lilly, NDP leader, a fan of she shops. I actually had to look up what that was because I thought it said Chi-Chi, and I was trying to figure out what the fuck a Chi-Chi was.
Yeah, I thought it was like some sort of Mexican thing, like Chi-Chi.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
I don't.
Like, I loved that place.
Yeah, put that in Google. She.
Yeah, man, they had deep fried ice cream and everything there. It was awesome.
It's very highfalutin. I think if you look up the definition, it's going to be like over elaborate pretentiousness, which is
that sounds about right.
A really good description. Because if you look at Horvath, I mean, you're like, well, that doesn't look like a very good outfit. But if you look at the price tag, you're like, oh, she spent $700 on that suit. She overpaid.
Well, that's popular for the NDP, I believe.
I'm sure it looked nice on the rack. Like, don't blame the suit.
So I don't have a problem with this because I mean, like, if you're the leader of a political body and the political body wants to furnish your lifestyle, I mean, have at it. Fill your boots, take the money and run. Like, that's all like well and good. You're entitled to do that as the leader of your party. But I would caution anyone who thinks that voting for the NDP is a good idea because she managed to spend in the course of 3 years, really, she managed to spend over $40,000 in clothing, but she misreported all of them on her expense returns because you have to turn in your political party expenses to the government for review. And all of her $40,000 in clothing ends up under things like travel.
Jesus,
office supplies and advertising expenses.
I gotta make a new meme.
Well, yeah. I feel like I'm not doing my accounting properly because if I realized I could write off all of my clothes as advertising expenses or travel,
you have $50 worth of tax credits.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's $50 more than they had before.
Wait, what if you write off ammo as entertainment? Because it's really fun shooting guns. Like,
so I mean, like that's my real problem with this is it was misreported. If she wants to spend the money and her party lets her do it, like,
yeah, but the problem is
from a practical perspective, well, that's where I was going with that. Like, I don't care what they as a party do. I do care if she's used to spending that's $15,000 a year, in excess of $15,000 a year in clothing expenses, when she's representing a riding with a median income of $24,000 a year. Like, the average person in her riding is barely living above the poverty line, and she spends 2/3 of what they make in a year on clothing.
Just a quick question. The median income is $45,000 in her writing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it 45,000? Okay, yeah. So then that is not as bad as.
Sorry, the household median income is 45. Individual, you're right. Individual income is 23,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was looking at individual, but in any event, no matter how you slice that number up, she's spending more in a year. That is such an absurd amount of money compared to everyone who she's supposed to be representing. And she claims to be for the workers, for like literally for the proletariat, smash the capitalism, obtain the means of production. Like, she's literally like trying to overthrow the capitalists and the bourgeoisie, and she's spending $15,000 a year in clothing.
Yeah.
She's not a very good fucking communist.
Question.
Oh, she is.
Does everybody else have a embedded YouTube video in the middle of this article for NDP oil wrestling gate?
Yes.
That's not referred to in any way in the article?
No, and I had seen that ad pop up a couple of times, and I have not read it or looked into it any further than that. Because it came up, it didn't come up when I was doing my show earlier. It just came up now while we're doing the show.
Way to go, Toronto Sun. I mean, like, that's just.
Oh, it was coming up on the National Post too. Like, I've seen it come up on at least 3 different pages this evening.
Oh, really? I'm just seeing it on this article. It's like embedded in the article.
Yeah, like just going back to the, like, if she wins and she's used to living that lifestyle, it's not going to be the party that's footing the bill for her clothes anymore. It's going to be you as the taxpayer. That's who's going to be doing that.
That's where I have the problem with it, is that she is not a representation of what she claims to be representing. And on top of that, she is not honestly recording those expenses.
Yeah.
Because to say clothing as travel is like, I can understand if you make a mistake on your expense report. We've all been there. You've put something on the wrong job. You've entered the decimal place in the wrong point. You've transposed a number. Like, that happens. I'm not faulting her for that. But to accidentally put $12,000 of multiple receipts in the wrong category.
Yeah, that are clearly the wrong category. Kind of intentional.
Like, it seems kind of intentional.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my accountant come to me and go, "Oh, you put this taxi expense thing under travel when it should go under car lease and rental." I was like, "Oh, well, I was traveling at the time, so I thought that went under travel."
Right, and I mean, like, I can understand that, and it happens when you're doing the expense, like that, and that's. But it's the fact that it's consistently that she's putting this putting the expenses under obviously wrong categories, and she's doing it year over year, and her party is allowing her to do it.
Yeah, shopping at rent-through is not a travel. Yeah.
So she's demonstrably bad at her job.
Yeah.
And yet the polls show her picking up steam.
Because the polls are, like, Ontario voters are voting against Ford. They're uniting and just voting not for.
Yeah, but look at what happened when we did that with, Harper.
Yeah.
Everyone did the whole ABC nonsense. Yeah,
it's an effective strategy for the opposition.
Yeah, until it puts us in a shithole like we're in now federally.
Yep.
it was effective in that, they got the guy they didn't want out, but they're not any better off.
I don't disagree with you, but we're in this situation, and we're going to be in this situation in this province as well, because it's an effective opposition strategy.
I just hope the voters realize what's going on and see through all the trickery and realize that this is not a good plan. This is not sustainable. These people don't know how to govern. And I'm not sure that Ford knows how to govern either, but at least he's looking for ways to save people money.
Yeah, we'll get drunk for cheaper so we can pass the time.
But I mean, dollar beer is actually legitimately measurably helping the middle class, because there's no reason that beer costs so much except that the government says it has to.
Well, let's just when Trudeau said he was going to help the middle class, I think when I did when everything settled out, due to income splitting and shit like that, we are hit, our little household is hit for about $280 a month. That's the difference in taxes from when Harper was in power compared to when Trudeau, the champion of the middle class, was in power. So that's dollar beer will make a difference in my household,
Yeah. It's probably a lot more.
Yeah. More than fucking legalizing marijuana.
Yeah.
All right, I don't got anything else. Let's start wrapping this up. I don't know what it's going to look like when we're combine the two broken parts together.
It'll be awesome.
It's always awesome.
Well, look what happens when we combine the two broken parts of our country, the Ontario Liberals and the federal Liberals. Works out perfect.
I don't know about that. If you haven't been doing it, go to oneclearvoice.ca, fill out all of the things, send them to your representatives in government, tell them to stop messing with our firearms and fight Bill C-71. And once you're done filling that out, tell all your friends to go and go and fill out petition E1608, because it's thoroughly stuck. I would really like to see it break 80,000 signatures. It's so very close.
Yeah. I am embarrassed by how low the response is on this one.
Well, and I think it was everybody that's involved and knows about what's going on, and then after the second week, that was everybody that was going to sign it. Because we've gone in the first couple of weeks, it went to 70,000, and then the last couple of weeks, it's gone from 70,000 to 78,000.
So I know we're preaching to the choir here, but if you're the kind of a-hole who sees someone at the range with an AR-15 and just secretly hopes that they'll offer you or will go up and ask for a chance to shoot that AR-15, and you haven't signed this petition, you're an asshole.
Yeah. If you listen to this show and you haven't done, you are definitely an asshole. Go and do it. You have no excuse.
Yeah, you clearly have the interwebs.
Yeah.
And time on your hands.
Which is better than most of this podcast, apparently.
Yeah. So for anyone listening that hasn't done it yet, if you have not signed that, I will go and steal that NDP drone, and I will drone you.
You heard it here first.
All right, we've got that out the way.
Hitler memes for all our listeners.
If you want a personalized Hitler meme, check out Tim's Good T-shirts.
That's good. Tim's Good Hitler memes.
They're quite wunderbar.
Quite high.
I should be more upset about this, but I'm not. That's pretty good. 8th Annual Canadian Firearms Podcaster Network Charity Shoot will be held in Restigouche, New Brunswick from July 5th to the 7th. The sponsors have started rolling in. The only sponsor that you need to know about is Ragnarok Tactical. We're donating a bunch of medical stuff. There'll be bandages and tourniquets for several people. There are also some pretty other good sponsors will be there. Our friends at Matador Arms, Fire Art Solutions Training. I don't know who else off the top of my head because I just started seeing them posting in the last couple of days that they have sponsors getting scored away.
Those are the only ones that really matter.
Well, I'm sure there'll be more. We don't have any rapid fire feedback this week. Normally, I would like to apologize to Rod Giltaka. Unfortunately, this week, Goldie on the YouTube comments brings up a good point. Free Tommy Robinson.
Yes.
Gavin, where can everybody find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at urbex_GTA. It's probably the best place to find me.
All right, Marty, where can everybody find the show?
Email set feedback at CanadianPatriotPodcast.com.
All right, and where can they find Tommy Robinson?
In jail. In the UK.
In jail.
Yes, he was sentenced without a lawyer in the space of a day.
In the space of an hour.
In a day's time, he got a 13-month sentence somehow.
Tim, where can everybody find some quality t-shirts?
You can go to facebook.com/Tim's Good T-shirts, all one word. And I am currently, as today is the second anniversary, being May 28th, the second anniversary of Harambe's murder. I am running a contest. And if you write me and put on the post in 30 words or less by June 4th, but you miss most about Harambe, you can win a Bandits Out for Harambe shirt. One of my first early designs, designed by our own Gavin.
Yeah. Bonus points if it's your 30 words or less or in the form of a limerick.
Ooh, yes. A haiku would be good too. Yeah.
I only submit things in pedagogy. All right. For all of me. You can find me at ragnaroktactical.ca. Go and buy some first aid supplies or some firearms parts or tacos. Everybody loves tacos or boots. We've got boots. They come in multicam. They come in other colors too, but we got multicam.
They're great for hanging out at the cottage on the weekend, let me tell you.
You got Matador stingers.
Yeah. I do. I just got a box of Matador stuff in the mail. We've got Matador stingers and Hammerhead muzzle brakes in all of the popular AR thread pitches.
Black Bear cases too. Those things are slick, man.
After we're done the show, I'm actually going to go and put my 22 in my Black Bear case for my 22 and take it to the range tomorrow and hope to do some shooting.
I saw you take your 22 to a range in a Black Bear case, and you were so pissed off that your Black Bear case was screwed up. And it turns out that it was the air had chilled and it had vacuum sealed closed. So the vacuum pressure of the Black Bear case was so difficult to open that you thought your case was fucked, but it was actually just a very good case.
It was actually just operator error in that I didn't open the pressure release valve.
Oh, there's a pressure release valve.
Yeah.
Okay. Good case.
Because great case. Great case. Because I was like, I've had this for like a day. How come it doesn't open? And it's because I left it in the cold and the air in the case was warmer than the air outside the case. And it created a vacuum and I didn't open the valve and it was really hard to open. But it made this cool noise.
So it performed as it was supposed to. Interesting.
Oh, it worked just fine. I didn't, which is kind of par for the course.
Some people have pressure relief valves. Some people turn to Hitler memes.
Same thing, really.
Our pressure release valve is buck of beer.
There you go.
I wish we had buck of beer.
4 more Fords.
I wish I had 4 more Fords too.
4 more years. There we go.
4 more. Yeah, that's good. That should be a t-shirt.
I'm sure that it is.
Yeah,
all right.
It's got to be.
I think that wraps everything up. For our listeners out there in podcast land, I would like to remind you that you are the true North, strong and free.